Have you ever wondered what Gandalf won? Of the mightiest and wisest beings ever to walk Middle-earth chose to do at the very end of his quest after the fall of Sauron, when peace had returned and the world began its slow healing. What final question could still linger unanswered in the wizard's heart, so powerful, so consuming that it compelled him to abandon his faithful hobbit companions and seek the counsel of the mysterious and carefree spirit, who existed even before Morgoth himself, as the gentle light of autumn bathed the west. Gandalf walked slowly alongside Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin on their homeward path. They laughed. Softly, hearts lighter after Sauron's defeat, yet a quiet sadness lingered within the wizard. Suddenly Gandalf halted, gazing westward, as if called by something far beyond sight. "If you would know," said Gandalf, turning to the hobbits with eyes deepened by the ages, "I'm turning aside. Soon I'm going to have a long talk with Bombadil, such a talk as I have not had in all my time. He is a moss gatherer, and I have been a stone doomed to rolling, but my rolling days are ending, and now we shall have much to say to one another." Tolkien, the return of the king. The hobbits watched silently, sensing the weight behind his words. Frodo, ever thoughtful, nodded, in understanding, though the others merely exchanged curious glances. Gandalf smiled softly, bidding farewell with a wave of his hand before departing down a winding path into the fading sun. The wizard's journey took him far from battlefields and kingdoms, beyond memories of war and loss. It led him instead into the deep tranquility of the old forest, where nature hummed untouched by age. Here dwelt Bombadil, a being whose life moved to a rhythm entirely separate from the world's troubles, a rhythm as constant as the seasons, yet inscrutable even to Gandalf himself. Thoughts Ed through Gandalf's mind as twilight painted the sky in shades of violet and gold. He reflected on their differences, knowing that while his existence had been marked by endless struggle, Bombadil's was serene and unchanging. Gandalf had traversed lands and realms, shaping the destinies of kings and common folk alike. Bombadil's world, however, extended only as far as the roots of trees and whispers of the wind, yet within that modest scope he found boundless contentment. Approaching the edge of Bombadil's realm, Gandalf paused here. Power and ambition held no sway here. Even the One Ring shadow had failed. This place defied the wizard's understanding of Middle-earth itself, where his authority, for once, felt meaningless. He wondered if this strange sanctuary might finally yield answers, or if it would deepen his questions further. Still, from within the twilight woods came laughter bright and clear as morning sunlight. Then emerged Tom, singing a nonsense rhyme as ageless and merry as ever. Gray pilgrim wandering here, at last you stand, seeking peace or wisdom in Tomk quiet land. Come sit by the firelight, rest your weary feet. Long is your road traveled, now our word shall meet. Tom smiled warmly, his eyes twinkling with eternal youth. Gandalf, feeling ages melt away, stepped forward and clasped his friend's hand, a smile breaking upon his weary face. "The world is changing," Gandalf said quietly, eyes grave yet gentle. "The elves are leaving, Sauron is gone. What happens next?" Tom Bombadil's eyes gleamed knowingly as shadows lengthened around them. Gandalf, "The stone rolls no more. yet moss still gathers in the quiet shade-sit now, and we will speak of things older than the stars, deeper than the roots of mountains, and as darkness gently enveloped the forest, their voices faded into the rustle of leaves, hinting at profound revelation still. Hidden in the night, waiting patiently for the dawn, he is known by the elves as Badar. Oldest and fatherless none remember the time before him trees and rivers awoke beneath. His singing darkness has passed by him and left no marked shadows flee from the lightness of his heart. He walks softly laughing often, yet his glance pierces deeper than sight. He dwells where boundaries of power fade, unchallenged by darkness or dominion ring, nor spell binds him, and he alone stands untouched by the malice that corrupts all else. He is the spirit of earth and water, timeless, joyful, a riddle without answer. Gandalf sat comfortably by Bombadil's hearth fire, light playing gently upon his lined face. Opposite him, Tom's eyes sparkled with quiet amusement, as if life itself was a merry jest shared between them, alone, gold graceful as morning moved quietly about their humble abode, singing softly in harmony with the murmuring forest beyond the window. Their laughter filled the small cottage, yet behind the wizard's smile question simmered. After many lifetimes of wisdom and power, still Gandalf wondered deeply at the being seated before him, Bombadil, who defied categorization, whose existence puzzled even the Eldar. You seem trouble, my friend, Tom said softly, eyes twinkling knowingly. What clouds your thoughts this even? Eve, I have wandered far, Tom, Gandalf replied slowly, through kingdoms and wars for mountains to seas, yet never have I found clarity about you. Even the eldest among elves speak your name with offer your older, even in their oldest songs. Bombadil laughed gently, eyes brightening. Oldest songs indeed, Tom, was here before the elves woke, before the dark ones stirred in the north. But does age alone make me a riddle? Not merely age, Gandalf mused thoughtfully, but your very nature defies what I know of Arthur. The One Ring had no power over you, even I feared its touch, yet you handled it as a trinket. Bombadil leaned back, comfortably gazing into the fire. Oh yes, the ring, a heavy thing for small hands and great hearts alike, but it means not to Tom. Rings and crowns matter little in the forest, and power passes quickly, but earth and water, wind and sunlight, they remain. Dear friend, they remain. Gandalf nodded slowly, sensing truth behind Bombadil's simple words. This was not merely whimsical evasion. Tom lived beyond power's reach, uncorrupted, untouched. In him was a purity of heart baffling in its simplicity. But you, Gandalf, Tom continued thoughtfully, yours has been a heavy burden. Duty weighed heavily on you while I watched the grass grow and heard rivers sing. Tell me, truly has the world been worth your endless labor? Gandalf hesitated, a shadow crossing his face. I do not regret my labors, Tom, yet often I wonder if peace can ever endure. Each victory against darkness breeds another shadow. The elves fade, men rise swiftly, but fall easily into corruption, and I grow weary. Bombadil leaned forward, earnest and compassionate. Perhaps your weariness springs from seeing too much. Gandalf, your heart carries the sorrows of 1,000. King OMS, let it rest here, a while the world will keep spinning. Yet herein the old forest peace endures, quiet and gentle As evening stars, the wizard's gaze softened something. Profound stirred within him. Tom's very existence challenged all Gandalf had ever believed about. Strength and purpose, perhaps power itself, was meaningless. Perhaps the truest wisdom lay in the unassuming harmony of Tom's life. After a moment of silence, Gandalf spoke again. You have watched all things pass, kingdoms rise and crumble, ages turn, yet you remain unchanged. Do you never grieve, Tom? For what is lost? Tom's expression grew thoughtful. A Gandalf's sorrow finds its way even here. I have seen ancient trees fall and clear waters darken, yet grief passes softly like rain upon a meadow. New life grows again, fresh and fair. All things change, yet all remains. I hold the joys, let sadness drift away, for all moments are precious under sun. And star the fire crackled quietly, and Gandalf felt comforted by Tom's words. Still the puzzle of his companion persisted in all his travels. Never had the wizard encountered another like him, a being whose essence so purely represented the enduring harmony of the earth itself. If I am but a passing whisper in the wind, Gandalf said, softly meeting Tom, gaze you, Tom, are the roots of the earth. Bombadil smiled gently, eyes shining warmly in the dancing fur light, as silence settled comfortably between them, leaving deeper mysteries unspoken, awaiting the wisdom of another dawn. The ring has no power over me, said Tom Bombadil, lightly tossing a small log into the fireplace and sending a shower of sparks into the air. It has no more hold over Tom than a cloud holds the wind. Yet power and desire shape your path, Alf, for you must walk among kings and warriors. Your burden is great and your wisdom hard-won, but consider this: perhaps true strength lies in simply refusing power altogether. The mighty fall, but the humble remain. Gandalf nodded thoughtfully. Eyes distant, he had borne the burden of guiding Middle-earth through darkness, confronting evil that corrupted even the noblest hearts. Yet sitting beside Bombadil, he felt something akin to humility. For the wizard recognized that Tom embodied a form of strength entirely foreign to his understanding. You speak easily of casting aside power, Gandalf murmured, gazing into the flickering flames, but power shapes history. Without strength, without sacrifice, the darkness would have consumed all. Is it not our duty to act, to strive against evil? Bombadil's gaze was gentle, but his eyes flashed keenly. You see power as a tool, yet as often a snare. Sauron crafted the ring to dominate, to command the wills of others, yet what good did it bring him? His own power consumed him, leaving only ruin. No, Gandalf, Tom's strength is different. It's the earth's strength, enduring quietly beneath storms and strife. The river does not seek power, it flows onward, eternal and free. Gandalf drew in a deep breath, sensing truth within Tom's words. He remembered the temptation of the ring, how it whispered promises of dominion even to the strongest souls. He recalled Boromir, driven by the noble desire to save his people, yet corrupted by that very impulse, yet without power. Gandalf countered gently, how do we shield the innocent? You have remained untouched by conflict, Tom. Hidden here in your forest, but out there evil grows bold, and innocent hearts suffer. Do we not have a responsibility to protect them? Bombadil shook his head, smiling warmly. Protect and defend. Yes, but power alone does not heal. Wisdom heals compassion, heals you see the sword, I see the hand. That wields it behind every act of power is choice Gandalf, and choice free and pure is greater than. Any weapon. Gandalf stared silently into the fire, pondering Bombadil's words he had always believed. His duty, clear guide, counsel, defend, but now, in the quiet warmth of Tom's presence, the wizard began to understand a deeper truth. Perhaps power itself was not evil, only the desire to dominate, control, and possess. Perhaps true power lay in the freedom to refuse it, to stand apart as Tom had done since the world began. Tom interrupted Gandalf's thoughts gently. Your battles are noble, and your heart true, yet never forget, Gandalf, that victory does not always mean conquest. Sometimes victory is in letting go, stepping aside, allowing the world to heal itself. The wizard felt a sudden release, as though a heavy burden had lifted slightly from his shoulders. ERS here at last was clarity, the understanding that true wisdom lay not in dominion, nor even in the wielding of strength, but in knowing when to step away, to allow life's quiet strength to flow unhindered. You speak truth, Gandalf said, finally smiling with newfound peace. All my long life I have sought understanding, but perhaps the greatest wisdom is to accept the limits of our power and embrace humility. Bombadil smiled broadly, eyes twinkling. Wisdom indeed for Tom, no crown or throne could ever match the whisper of wind, the dance of leaves, or the gentle touch of rain. Power seeks control, Gandalf. Wisdom seeks to understand, and understanding knows that life endures beyond all struggles. They sat quietly for a time, watching as the fire slowly dimmed, casting flickering shadows around the room. The night deepened outside, yet the silence inside felt rich and comforting. Gandalf's heart, long burdened by the fate of Middle-earth, felt strangely at peace at last. Bombadil stirred, turning once more to Gandalf, his eyes shining. If power seeks to rule, then wisdom seeks to understand. Remember this, my friend, true strength lies not in victory nor in dominion, but in living freely, joyfully, untouched by ambition. Here in the old forest, power has no place, only peace and freedom. Gandalf smiled, nodding deeply as Tom's words resonated within him, carrying truths he would hold close in the days to come. For Tom, every age is just another chapter in an ongoing cycle, said Bombadil gently, his voice weaving softly through the stillness of the room. Kings rise, kingdoms crumble, shadows lengthen, and dawn returns again. The world is but a circle, spinning endlessly, and Tom sits in the center, untouched, and watching men speak of beginnings and endings. But for me, each age is a ripple on the river here. Then gone the river flows, and the hills remain. Gandalf sat quietly, eyes distant, absorbing the depth within Tom's simple words. He had seen ages past, too, had witnessed proud civilizations flourish and vanish, yet the wizard felt deeply the pain of their passing, for his heart was tied closely to the fate of the world he loved. Yet change carries loss. Gandalf said softly, almost himself, I have watched elves depart, seen the decay of beautiful things. Even victory against evil carries sorrow, for much of beauty and wisdom fades away. Tom nodded solemnly, though his gaze remained serene, Yes, Gandalf, change brings sadness, but also renewal. Leaves fall, but spring returns green again. You mourn the elves leaving, yet men rise to fill their places. Each ending births a new beginning. Gandalf sighed, feeling the truth of Tom's words. Like a gentle ball on ancient wounds, and yet, Tom, I wonder what Middle-earth will become without the elves. Without guidance or guardians, men are strong, yes, but they falter easily, forgetting wisdom as swiftly as they learn it. Tom chuckled, quietly shaking his head. Gently, men will learn, Gandalf. Slowly, perhaps painfully, but they will find their way. Every age believes itself at the center of all things, yet time moves forward with quiet patience. Do you recall the first forest I sang awake? It grew without guidance, without guardians. Life finds a way even through the darkest winters. Gandalf smiled, slightly comforted by Tom's gentle wisdom. He knew the truth of his companion's words. Life did endure, resilient and stubborn, yet he wondered deep down if the fourth age would remember the lessons so painfully learned. Would they preserve peace or repeat cycles of darkness and despair? Bombadil seemed to sense Gandalf's unspoken thoughts, his eyes twinkling softly. You wonder what lies ahead, Gandalf, what awaits Middle-earth now. But even I cannot see clearly the shape of days to come. The future is hidden, known only to the stars. Yet remember, this light always returns after darkness, warmth after winter. For a moment they sat silently, the fire's embers glowing faintly, casting long shadows across their faces. Outside, the wind whispered gently through trees older than memory, trees that had witnessed countless passings of seasons and ages. Gandalf spoke quietly again, his voice thoughtful, tinged with sadness. I have given much to Middle-earth, yet soon I must leave. My heart tells me my time here, and soon, Tom, what then becomes of this land we both love? Will it thrive or fall to ruin? Tom leaned forward slightly, smiling warmly, eyes full of gentle certainty. When you go, Gandalf, others will rise. Each age has its heroes, its wisdom. Your story ends, yet another begins. Men shall write their tales as elves once wrote theirs, and though mistakes will come, so too shall greatness. Fear not, my friend. Life goes on. Gandalf nodded, comforted yet melancholic. He felt deeply the weight of parting, of leaving behind the land he had protected for so long. Still, Tom's words resonated deeply within him, easing the ache of goodbye. Tom stood slowly, stretching comfortably. Come, friend, step outside. The stars sing brightly tonight, and we shall listen together. The world may change, ages pass, yet the stars above remain timeless and patient together. They stepped out beneath the night sky. Gandalf looked upwards, feeling the vastness of the cosmos. Stretching above, countless stars gazed silently down, witnessing silently the spinning of worlds, the passing of ages. Their soft light, ancient and gentle, soothed Gandalf's troubled heart, reminding him that though all things pass, beauty endures eternal and untouched by time. Tom whispered softly, almost to himself, yet loud enough for Gandalf's ears. The river flows, and the hills remain. Seasons change, yet the earth endures. Remember this, Gandalf, when sadness touches your heart, life circles ever onwards, and in each turning there is hope. I have seen the stars before they were counted, Tom, and yet I do not understand you. Gandalf said quietly, standing beneath the immense. Eternal heavens, his voice was filled with gentle humility, a rare openness born of weariness. In trust, the wizard had spent lifetime seeking truths, guiding others, yet here was a riddle. Deeper than any he had encountered, Tom Bomber laughed softly, his voice mingling with the rustle. Of leaves understand me, perhaps there is nothing to understand, Tom, is Tom, and that's enough. But you carry a heavier burden, Gandalf, you bear the weight of knowledge, the past, present, and shadows of futures uncertain. Tell me, friend, does your wisdom grant peace or pain? Gandalf sighed. Deeply eyes reflecting the stars, quiet glow, both Tom knowledge guides, yet it also wounds I. Have walked paths darker than nightmares, glimpsed truths that torment even the strong my role has. Always been to advise and protect, yet never to reveal. All truth is often cruel and wisdom a heavy. Burdened Tom listened thoughtfully, nodding gently, yet knowledge without choice means little the wise. Bear scars unseen, for they alone must decide what truths to share and what to withhold. You have protected many, Gandalf, yet your heart carries secrets heavier than mountains. The wizard nodded. Solemnly, yes, and often I wonder, do we truly choose our paths, or is all merely the fulfillment of Eru? Songs sung before time itself began, can there be freedom within destiny, or are we simply actors in a tale already written? Bombadil smiled knowingly, eyes twinkling softly, the old riddle of fate. In choice, Tom knows little of such cosmic burdens, yet my heart says both freedom and destiny dance. Together the music of the inner shaped this world, yes, but within the music lies endless variation. Choice is infinite, and new life moves freely even within the patterns set long ago. Gandalf's brow furrowed, gently pondering deeply. Perhaps you speak truth, yet if our choices matter, then each of my decisions, each secret withheld, each sacrifice made has carried profound consequence. How does one live with such weight? Tom placed a comforting hand on Gandalf's shoulder, older, his voice soothing. And wise you bear it, my friend, by accepting that you cannot control all. Wisdom means understanding your limits. You have shaped kingdoms and counseled kings, yet you cannot hold the whole world's fate. Alone, sometimes letting go is the hardest yet wisest choice. Gandalf felt a deep sense of peace washing through him, a relief long withheld, the burden of his endless vigilance, the pressure of his immense responsibilities seemed to ease in Tom's gentle presence. Here wisdom was not heavy. Here truth was simple and pure. Tell me, Tom, Gandalf asked softly, his voice tinged with curiosity. Have you ever felt burdened by what you know you have witnessed every age pass? Surely you carry your own secrets. Tom smiled gently, eyes distant yet serene. Burdened perhaps, but my secrets are different. I know the heart of the river, the whispers of trees, the songs stars sing to each other. My knowledge is joy, not pain, for I carry nothing that harms or controls. You, Gandalf, bear truths bound to suffering and strife. Your knowledge binds you, all mine sets me free. Gandalf nodded slowly, absorbing the gentle wisdom. His long existence devoted to guidance and protection had always demanded sacrifice. His peace exchange for others' safety. Here with Tom, the wizard glimpsed another path, one defined not by struggle but by joyful acceptance, yet I have chosen this. Gandalf said firmly, though his voice was quiet, my path is heavy, yes, but it has purpose still. I envy your peace, Tom, your joyful harmony, with all around you, Tom, smiled warmly, nodding gently. Each path has its beauty, and burden your role has shaped the lives of many your wisdom has guided. Middle-earth, perhaps peace, is your final lesson, Gandalf, not the peace won by swords or power, but peace found in letting go. Your burden has been great, yet your legacy greater still for A. Long moment the two stood beneath the infinite stars, their silence comfortable deep with. Mutual understanding. Gandalf knew his time in Middle-earth was ending soon. He would leave behind the cares and sorrows of this world, yet here beneath the timeless heavens in Bombadil's presence he finally began to feel ready. Tom's voice broke gently through the silence, once more softly guiding the wizard's heart toward acceptance. Perhaps it is not about understanding, old friend, but simply about being. All things must pass, even the wizards. Gandalf whispered softly, his voice filled with a bittersweet calm. The first rays of dawn stretched gently across the old forest, illuminating the wizard's silver beard and tired yet peaceful eyes. He stood silently beside Tom Bombadil, knowing deep within his heart that this was their final farewell, one ancient spirit departing, another remaining eternally bound to Middle-earth. Bombadil looked upon Gandalf with tender wisdom, eyes shimmering warmly as the sunlight danced through. Leaves above your road has been long and weary, Gandalf, yet it was worthy. Many lives breathe freely now, many hearts beat lighter for your labors. You have earned your rest, dear friend. Gandalf smiled, faintly touched by Tom's words. Rest, yes, Tom, yet leaving is never simple. My task here ends, but my heart lingers still. I will carry Middle-earth forever within me, its sorrows and joys alike. Tom nodded slowly, his gaze filled with gentle understanding, and Middle-earth shall carry you, Gandalf, in legends and songs whispered beneath starlit skies. Your name will remain, but for you the journey goes beyond the circles of the world. Are you ready for such a path? Yes, Gandalf replied, softly, eyes reflecting the endless sky. Though parting brings sorrow, my time here is complete. Tom shall remain, your song woven forever into this world. Yet my role has ended, it is fitting to depart at last. Bombadil smiled knowingly, placing a comforting hand upon Gandalf's shoulder. Then go in peace, Mithrandir, servant of wisdom. Remember, always beyond the edges of all known paths lies new beauty awaiting discovery. For a moment the two stood silently, savoring the quiet simplicity of their friendship. Gandalf had long walked amidst battles and turmoil, yet here, in Tom's humble company, he found a peace rare and precious, untouched by strife or shadow. At last Gandalf turned away, taking his first step towards the borders of Bombadil's land, and beyond toward the gray havens and the shores of the sea. Yet before he could leave he paused, turning once more to look upon the enigmatic being who had puzzled and inspired him for so long. Tom, Gandalf called, gently, voice filled with quiet reverence, before I depart forever, will you ever leave this forest, seek other paths, other truths? Tom chuckled softly, his voice rich with affection and gentle amusement. Leave? Why would Tom seek elsewhere? All that is needed lies Here river and meadow leaf and sunbeam adventure calls not to me peace is adventure enough. Gandalf laughed warmly, eyes glistening soft ly. Then Tom, may your peace endure eternally, and may your joy remind all who pass by this forest of simpler truths too often forgotten. Bombadil raised his hand gently in farewell, smiling brightly. Farewell, Gandalf, your story does not. And it changes as all tales must go freely now, with love and friendship. Know that Tom Card walks with you wherever your new path may lead. Gandalf turned once more toward his road, feeling a deep sense of serenity filling him. Ahead lay the sea, the passing beyond the west, yet behind him lay countless memories woven into the fabric of Middle-earth itself. Behind him Tom began to sing, a sweet melody rising softly into the morning air, filled with gentle wisdom, joy, and timeless serenity. Gandalf listened quietly, feeling peace settled upon his heart. At last, knowing midly earth would endure, flourish, and carry forth new stories, even as old ones ended. The world spins on, and the song never ends. Tom sang softly, his voice mingling with the whispers of leaves and murmurs of wind. Gandalf smiled, stepping onward into the dawn, ready for the journey that awaited beyond the circles of this world.